So that guessed. Hmm. You. Oh, this is so frustrating. um, okay. And oh, somebody's there. Hello, Adi. I tried to do a live stream scheduled, like a week in advance, and it just didn't go live. I don't understand. I'm sure it's all me that doesn't know how to do it, but it's still frustrating. Um, try new live. So then I can show you. Loved your arm wrestling. Oh, well, thank you. So, does that look strong? Right, I'm getting a bit too hot. What bothered when you can't get things to work? Well, I'll see if I can get you to come back. Who was watching Iron Woman? We want to witness finger lock wrestling. I would have an advantage of sorts with finger lock. Strong fingers. Anyway, I'm going to show you all around my exhibition, which is my main point, but I want to see Dirk get here because he has been trying to communicate with me on the other one. Dirk, are you there? Mm. Newsfeed, newsfeed. Copy link. 7 people. Could you all show yourself? I actually want to meet some of you people. Okay, I'll get Dirk to be on live with me. Are my muscles beautiful? Have you seen Lizzie Lizzie? Yes, I have. Were you the one that introduced me to Lizzie Lizzie? Because she was funny. She didn't seem to do all that well at her arm wrestling, though. She seemed to lose to everyone she arm wrestled. So I'll give myself some good chances against her. Right, so this is the first time I've tried to do a long intro. Hey, everyone's gone. Where are you all gone? I'm going to show you around, and hopefully Dirk will come and join us. Give me a minute. Dirk, yes, Dirk, I will give you a minute. So please write down who you all are. Please do once what? Right, so I'm going to shortly, when you've all shown, well, I suppose some of you maybe can't show yourselves, which could be an issue. But I'll start by showing you this. I'll go up to the top tier and I'm going to show you the exhibition from the top down. So, bit network issues from my side. Okay, what kind of network? Should I also add some mobile data? Would that help? What kind of issues? The bad thing about filming yourself, as you can see, I can see myself biting my lips. Right. So I'll start by telling you that this exhibition is, it came out of experiencing a dear friend. Oh, hello. Jesus loves you. Thank you. Barrett Boat. Good now. Okay. So this exhibition started with seeing a dear friend relapse into a heroin addiction. And whatever addiction somebody's going through, it really can have a powerful impact on you as a friend. This exhibition is in a place called Aarhus in Copenhagen, no, in Denmark. Aarhus is the second biggest tiny city in Denmark. So let me see. The place is called the the Culture House bunker, and it's a great space. So I look forward to showing you around the exhibition. So as I say, this exhibition started with it's called the party, I guess. In Danish, I've called it festen. My friend relapsed back in 2016, and I had got to the stage where I had kind of given my heart to him. I thought maybe we should share a calling and a life together, a soothing place, yes. And so I wanted to work and help other people out of addictions together with him, because I knew he understood. He understood the addiction from inside. But he ended up relapsing, which is almost like the opposite, you know. It's like, hey, no, you were instead. He returned to heroin. Now, this painting is about, I suppose, the first drug that people drug themselves with, and you may be like offended by that, but it really is. When I'll make the next video, well, we'll see. This is the next video. I'm making the next video. If you look into the background, you'll see various faces and bottles and things appearing. Though my friend was a heroin addict, he also would drink, and it was kind of painful to watch. Somebody that I really thought was great, just relapsing. Let's see here. A little demon talking to her. It's like, yeah, have it, have some more, have some more. It's just everyone does it. It's party time. And my friend was a bit like that. The difference between him when he was in an addictive state compared to when he was clean was just like night and day. Tinted one. You mean this one? See, this character is a little bit of the unknown, and I'm not even sure I know what's going on with that person. It's like, on the one hand, it could be the person who's gone so deep inside of addiction that they're vanishing from the party, or it could be the opposite, that they're not part of the drinking crowd and therefore feel outside. And both are possible. You can go to the extreme in both directions that makes you feel outside. Unknown person looks amazing. Yeah. And even these cool guys, you know, I'll show you how one possibly cool guy ended up looking after he'd been drinking and doing drugs for a while. This is Asa Kim, who was also called Curly Kim, and I know he really had a drink problem. He may have had an acid problem too, but he keeled over in the street one day, and that was him. But he did manage to see this painting, and he's not my beloved addict. This exhibition is called My Beloved Addict because I really loved that guy. Three circles, that's Christiania logo. He was from Christiania. These are paintings I did from Christiania back in the day. Drinking problem. Statement, but where does it belong? He had a drinking problem. Thankfully, I don't have a drinking problem. Right, so what was I saying about my friend? My friend relapsed, and I went through a harrowing time because I really cared about that guy, and he suddenly didn't need me anymore. In fact, he would rather I just kind of kept myself to myself, and that's painful when you've invested something in somebody. So, but I've tried to both paint what I think people are feeling when they're addicted or in an addicted state, in a being high state, and I've also tried to express what it's like to be close to somebody with an addiction. So it goes both ways to try and build a bridge. Oh, Dirk, I really want you to turn up. Where is Dirk? Christiania's a nice place. Yeah, it's both nice and it's rough. It's vibrant indeed. And she looks like she's having a nice time just up in the pink clouds, away from all the problems of her life. In the next painting, she's kind of turned upside down. The colors look a bit more messy. It's a little bit more hard work. Is there a chat conversation happening somewhere in the background? Yeah, I'm afraid so. It's quite far away, but it could be that it's disturbing. Don't know if I can do anything about that. So I'm just going to try and see if I can add Dirk here. Hello, Dirk.
Hello, hello.
Right,
This is
Dirk
a live stream. Okay.
is live. Yeah, so you're kind of on the screen as well.
Yeah, I see it.
So
I
Dirk,
see.
I just thought I would bring Dirk in because he has made the music that's also in the background. He composed the music for me, which was an amazing thing. So, yeah. And then this last painting is, there's somebody saying hi, Dirk. This last painting is of the state where you're almost vanishing into the abyss. So the person is very see-through. So, Dirk, I don't know if you want to tell a bit about your first experience of seeing this exhibition, because you saw it in its first condition back in Galabril.
Yeah, it's a new painting that you are showing now, huh?
Yes, these ones you haven't seen live. They've been done
Yeah,
since.
okay.
But do you want to say a little bit about your experience of seeing the exhibition in Christiania? Can you remember?
Yes. I still remember. I still have a memory for the time being. For the time being.
For the time being.
Well, it was an impressive exhibition because you're really immersed in the world of somebody who is taking drugs. And for somebody who never did it, it was quite something new and interesting.
Yeah.
And impressive at the same time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So here I'm going to show. This is also new compared to what I had produced before. When I did this exhibition first time round, I had quite an upper class pusher. He was smartly dressed, and now I have created one that looks more like a Christiania pusher.
Yeah.
This guy is has got a new head, the first head that I made was just a quickly thrown together flamingo head. Now I've actually sculpted this one from a sculpted head that I did. I'm sorry about the noise in the background. People are talking and I can't really tell them to shut up.
Matter of fact, I don't hear the noise. So only
Someone
hear
else?
your voice. It's okay.
Okay. Maybe the other people heard it. So nice combination. I've got this guy called Addy and someone called Murgok in the chat, and maybe some other people will turn up talking. Can you not hear that, all that racket? So anyway, the reason, no, you don't hear them either. Okay, good. So this guy is based on people in Christiania, and since you last were in Christiania, Dirk, there's been quite a change in who is in the street. There used to be a lot of the local, harder, older Christiania pushers, but they have been probably pushed out in part and replaced by people maybe more from Nørrebro. And a lot of them are maybe second generation or whatever you want to call them, Danes. And I actually find them easier to talk to than the older Christiania guys. They were so hard towards anyone, but they're more in the background if they're still involved. And the younger generation who maybe have a Muslim background, I don't find them so difficult to talk to, which is nice. I mean, I'm not saying that they're all amicable, but for me, it's been quite good to talk to them. Maybe I should go back to them first before I move on. But it's partly also because they are the small fish. They're small fries. They're the ones that are getting put into danger, and the older generation of pushers are watching from the sideline. When the police come, they're like, "Nothing to do with me. I don't have nothing." And then these young guys will have to take the prison sentences. So it's not great for anyone. And Pusher Street is really looking like it's on its last legs. It's a lot of frustration because even though the actual people I speak to don't seem hard to me, the general feel and the general hardness of Pusher Street. By the way, some of you don't know what Pusher Street is. It's a street in a free town in Copenhagen called Christiania, and it's been for a long time. It's been a place where you could buy hash only. So it's meant to be like a compromise between not having any drugs and allowing soft drugs. Yeah, or if you don't allow anything, you might be allowing everything. So there's like, well, if we just allow hash and marijuana, then we might be able to save ourselves from the hard drugs. Now I would say it's all getting quite chaotic. Everything is happening, and that's why Christiania is trying to do something about it. But anyway, the other reason why I have this face is because I did a sculpted head of a friend of mine over a decade ago, and he happened to be half African, half English, so his face was just a little bit more sort of African looking. So that was also partly why that was the head. So those of you who are watching still, I will be taking you through a labyrinth. You can get a little bit lost together with me in the labyrinth. And this is also new. So I don't know if it's possible for you to be on audio and still the whole picture being on the paintings. Do you know, can you tell whether that can be done? Because then it'd be good to have you talk. I don't think I can do that. Never mind. Right, so this can't rotate. This is like the fourth painting of that series, and it falls a little bit outside partly in style and also in shape. So I've just taken it over here on the other side on its own. Right. Anyone else want to make any comments or ask any questions before I move on down here? Right, it's going to get dark at some places. Looks like a bird in it. Oh, I didn't see that. That was from before. Right. Okay, so this is the new door. Looks fancier than back when you saw the exhibition, don't you think?
Yeah.
And here you see there are flashing lights outside, but there are also flashing lights that you can see through here. So it's almost like saying, well, you know, the lure of being high can be like you can sense that it's going to be exciting and behind that door, but you can't actually see. So you're partly trusting that it is. And it says here, the first one's free, my friend. And I don't think
And the
I
fact
can
that
really, huh?
and the fact that the door is not straight, is that
Yeah.
on purpose?
Well,
It looks like a fun house.
yeah, it looks like a fun house. Yeah. Um, can you see my face in the mirror?
No, I see the mirror, but now I see your face. Hello.
So the attempt here is to make myself or anyone who looks in the mirror be Superman, because apparently people who take drugs, they kind of want to be like a hero for the day. So you know, if you're not feeling that great about yourself, then it's nice to feel a bit like a Superman. So can you hear some music in the background?
No,
No?
only
Okay.
your voice, and that's good.
So this says push, and this
Yeah.
one here says come further in. So let's do it. So can you hear the music now?
Far away in the background, but I hear something now, yes. But that's not important. What you're telling is more important.
Oh,
Yeah, now I hear something.
this is
It's gone away.
new music here. Party time.
That is still the fun part.
So we're just within the entrance, so that's the fun part.
Yeah.
Did you not hear any music in Murgok? What do we
Almost
do?
nothing. Nothing. Just continue.
Straight. Right, so
Some bits, that's all. See,
almost
a lot of
nothing. That's incredible. Okay.
the light effect is beautiful.
How about now?
Slightly, softly.
There was
Yeah,
something.
it's rather distorted music. So anyway,
Okay. Well, there's there is a soundtrack playing in this labyrinth um, by Dirk, and you heard a little bit maybe. Let's move to this painting. So this painting
mm,
was an attempt to show the relationship between a woman who super trippy, yeah, and this guy here who clearly has the Scream's face. So now you can see the stream, what it looks like from the side. Mm. But he seems to have left quite a lot of debris in the background here. All these other women who've been hurt. So maybe when this girl was like wanting to speak to show him love or to give her heart to him, he's like, oh no, let's get back into what I know. And this lady, she's kind of beckoning him in. But you know, it doesn't take long before it becomes hell again. Yeah, Michael Muller. Well, yeah, I mean, I thought music sounds too loud to be true, but I'm going to just put it up a little bit and then let's see, and then I'll just turn it down again because I find it really loud. Can people hear the music? The trippy soundtrack.
No,
No?
you can't hear it. No,
Wow,
but
that's crazy.
you can
That's so
find you
that's
can
so
find
weird.
the whole you can find all the soundtrack on
Yeah,
Spotify. It's called the
you'll get to
soundtrack
hear the
of an
soundtrack
addiction.
later. And here's another trippy face.
Yeah. Hello.
And this mirror, um, it has some leaves on it that say "just ready to be eaten," and you've got the mushrooms hanging around here. I thought that was a funny combination. So yeah, so back to this painting. Huge mural. Well, it's quite a big painting, but not that huge. But yes, this looks like a huge mural in the painting. I suppose, I mean, it says you cannot and you're not worthy. And I'm just thinking somebody who has got addiction problems often have a mixture of low self-esteem and feeling like they're the greatest thing that there ever was. So it's a funny combination. And I suppose when you're high, you feel like you're worth $1 million. And when you then come down off your high, you might not feel quite so good. But here in this mural, I also have somebody sent me a little message earlier that Jesus loved me. Well, here is Jesus carrying somebody out of hell because it's nice to have some hope, isn't it? It's good to have some hope. So come out of here. There are actually two characters fighting here, but they're very difficult to see. They're actually almost easier to see on my camera than in the painting itself. So, but over here, there's a character that's got a helmet on and a shield. And it's funny because for me, that's two things. For me, it's both. You have to be careful to protect yourself from the temptation of returning to addiction and drugs and stuff like this. But also, an addict often seems to be quite guarded, like they don't let people too close. So there's like a mixture of both, too much protection towards the people who can help you and needing to be more protected against the stuff that you used to be involved with in an addiction. And I've written here, face your fears, because I think that's good advice. So anyone got any questions? Next painting is this one. Do you remember that one, Dirk?
Yes. That was very beautiful. Still very beautiful.
Yeah, a friend of mine, he's like, I would like one of those cloaks. He'd
Yeah.
like to wear it. um, So that's fair enough. But when you get closer, you notice some things that are maybe not so attractive. And then maybe the last thing you notice is the face of those whom you might consider to be the friends of the addicts. Um, you know, that's kind of a picture of how I felt. So, because this isn't the addict, this is the addiction or the drug that's just luring you and drawing you in and being fake, an illusion of pleasure. So this is the big room, and it could even be more exciting and lively and stuff, but it is what it is. And then you go through this curtain here, that's sort of like silver paper. That balloon's just kind of fizzled away, unfortunately, but still, party time is starting to die. We go in here. Whoops, the light went on. And you'll remember this painting too. Artwork feels like you went on a journey to unravel the tragedy of your lover, kind of passage of therapy for yourself, question mark. Um, Firstly, you know, I thought that we were going to be maybe get married and have a life together, but I was aware that he still had that shield and helmet around him, so I was very respectful of that space that he needed. So even though we spent a lot of time together, it wasn't it wasn't actually a boyfriend girlfriend relationship as such. In my mind, I thought we were going to do something with our lives together. Therapy, well, in some ways, it's more a question of when you've had these experiences, even though it doesn't necessarily feel directly like therapy, for me, it felt like at least I was maybe able to do something with it that could help other people. So this painting is a bit difficult to see because of the light shining on it. There we go. But it's supposed to represent that feeling of not knowing which way to go, that you're reaching out, you're kind of like fumbling in the dark. There we go. And not really getting anywhere, not knowing which light source to go towards because none of it seems convincingly the most obvious one. And when you turn the corner here, ta-da! So what's happening here? Anyone want to say? Relate to Murdoch saying, I would imagine we can all relate. I think you're saying relate to that one. Yeah, the feeling of fumbling in the dark. Yeah, probably. But it's all the more poignant when you're dealing with somebody's life because you as a friend of an addict want to do anything that will make their addiction stop. So when you're trying to meet them in love and try to show that you care, yeah, then when you're then met with, hey, it's your love and your care that's been too much for me, then you're like, oh, so that didn't work. And then you try to be passive and that doesn't feel right. And then you try to be like, okay, well, you go and sail in your own sea and come back when you've found another way. And that doesn't feel right. Then you just feel like you're going towards all sorts of different light sources and none of them work. And it just feels a little bit more tragic. Yeah. And then this one is about when somebody's high, they kind of lose contact with their feelings, their heart, their conscience. So that's why the head is hovering above the body, detached. Well, he's wearing his knickers, which is not so normal, but I guess, if you're not really getting up properly in the morning, then perhaps you might be found in that state. But what I wanted to state was really, I've kind of painted this guy to look skinny. Heroin addicts, they forget to eat properly and use all their money on heroin. So this guy's got a black cloak around him. It's almost like we can see the darkness enveloping him, but he can only see the light inside his head. It's almost like an opposite to the painting that I called the Grim Reaper that you saw outside in the other room. Now we'll go further in. Oh, so this one, it's a fail. I need to put some more water in here. It's a bubbling brain. Yeah. And it's kind of connected to a poem that I have written that you can see in a minute. It's also connected to this painting. So the brain and this painting are connected to a poem that I'll share just in a second. And the poem is called Beautiful You, because honestly, I felt my friend was beautiful when I met him. I've also seen other sides to him that were perhaps not quite as beautiful. But anyway, so it's called Beautiful You. Beautiful you, I've vanished into thin air, and you've turned into lead. Heavy lead that pulsates through my head and makes me sick. I was not sick, but now I'm sick. Sick, afraid of losing you and me on your stormy, roaring sea. I cannot breathe. I'm drowning in angst, strangled by fear. Now I do not know you, nor me. Ocean, fog, hurricane, I know them, but not you, not me. And you're frying your brain while you make that insane promise that you can go it alone. But this is the beginning of the end of the trust that characterized our loving tone, and I'm torn apart by the inner screams I cannot bear. Beautiful me, where are you? Ripped apart, broken, torn in two. There we have the tears. So this painting has also been out in the street where it got some more tears. But I managed to repair them in such a way that they became more powerful. The painting became more powerful to look at, which in a sense was an encouragement to me, because I felt like my life was in tatters. And I thought, well, if I can repair the painting in such a way that it becomes more beautiful, then perhaps I can also my heart can also be repaired. And by the way, if anyone wants to see, then Dirk has made a number of videos that are on my YouTube channel from way back in 2019, I think they would be. He put a lot of work into that, and I was a hard taskmaster. So if you want to know more about the artworks, then those videos are a possibility to look at. So they, I think also back then they were called My Beloved Addict, weren't they? Or
Yes.
Something like that. Yeah. Yes. Anyway, here comes the most harrowing artwork. Dun 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 dun. Yes. So anyone want to tell me what's going on here? One big shadow. So this is an artwork that's called The Cocaine Lover. So it was actually not specifically about my friend either. Some of it is and some of it's not, but this one was more inspired by a letter somebody wrote to their beloved addict, making love to the seductress heroine herself. Okay, so your comment, Marcock, seems to have been sorted by a moderator. I didn't know I had a moderator, but there we go. Yeah, it is about maybe certainly the love relationship between coke, or it could be heroin, and the addict. So another moderator just handled it. Okay, I don't know. I don't seem to get to choose myself whether your comment gets included. But yeah, as you can see, it's a pretty dysfunctional love relationship because she is just stabbing him in the back, and it's not the first time. It's not the first time that she has stabbed him in the back, and he's still there. He hasn't seemed to have learned his lesson. And on it,
That is one of the artworks you have to see in reality, because on video it's two-dimensional. In reality, it's big. It's like a real man laying on top of that woman. It's
yeah,
very impressive when you see it live.
yeah. Sorry, folks, you're gonna have to just make it all the way to Aarhus.
But
Yeah.
this is an invitation.
Yeah, it's definitely not as um powerful to see a sculpture on video as it is to see it live, and also just sort of like coming across it, suddenly turning up in front of it is quite kind of like scary. Murgoch, can you say something else? Can you write something else just so that your message that seems to have been hidden by a moderator isn't the last thing that's on here, or anyone else who's there? Right. So this word means death, and this word means life, and this is the room where you have that choice. And I also have a painting here, um, which is also about that choice. And the person in the middle looks like he's having a hard time choosing it. You'd love to see the exhibition. Well, it's still here until late February. It's worth a visit. I mean, Dirk went all the way from Belgium to see the exhibition in its first version, so I don't think he regretted it.
No.
So this is the addict, if you like, and there are two faces on each side of the scream. One is encouraged by a sort of angelic figure here to go towards the light. The other character over here is pulling him towards the darkness. And you would think it's an obvious choice, like why not just go into the light? But you know what happens in the light? Everything dark is visible, everything ugly is visible in the light. So if you have a bad conscience, and you come out into the light, you can feel every little bit of that bad conscience, and you cannot face that on your own. You need to have somebody to walk you through it who's been there before, perhaps. Otherwise, you will be sinking into a worse place. So it's really about the fact that you need to be humble enough to ask for help, to reach out for help. And the funny juxtaposition of great pride and low self-esteem that an addict has, it makes that journey all the harder, because low self-esteem, if you add humility to low self-esteem, you're basically crawling with your stomach on the gravel and the mud, which few people feel like doing. And if you have this kind of illusion of grandeur at the same time, then you almost feel you're too good to do that. So it's a really difficult one to negotiate. But if you do negotiate it, you do realize that you need to ask for help, and you stoop that low, then you will find the way out. It says way out, and you've got this low place to go, so you have to go under to get in here. And the reason why this room is made from what looks like sackcloth, and it's written on with charcoal, or the equivalent of ashes. In the Old Testament times in the Bible, they used to dress up in sackcloth and ashes if they were remorseful, if they regretted something. They showed it that way. So in a sense, this is the humility room. And because the 12 steps from the NA and AA, etc., are such a well-known form of healing for addicts, I have used that on the wall here quite a lot. A lot of the things that you have in NA groups. I also have one painting. It's kind of dark. Don't know if I can do anything about that. It's two hands that are reaching out towards each other. And I do believe that that there's the opportunity for reconciliation and repair between relations, but also within yourself as an addict. So both about reconciliation and repair of some sort. And it can also be a spiritual connection. Could this be God and this be man, like in Da Vinci's? Or was it Michelangelo? Should really know these things as an artist. Anyway. Yeah. So anyway, we still need to find our way out. It's all very well being humble and standing here. We also need to follow these arrows, which I honestly need to make a little bit more clear. Because even though they seem obvious enough, like, okay, there must be something about this little spot here. Many people find it a little bit too difficult to find. So it shouldn't be impossible. But Murdoch, what do you say? Do you think this is the way out? There's another arrow there. But people, they come here and they're like, no. This can't be right. This is just not right. And they'll go like, no. Even when I'm with them, and they'll come back out because they don't believe it. And I'm like, no, it's right. It is right. Okay, so let's do it then. Let's get out of here. Whoops. And the fun thing is that you can't see that you're going the right way. You have to trust You have to trust that it's the right way right up until near the end when you start to see a little bit of light. And for somebody with an addiction, so insightful, he says, for somebody with an addiction that they go to therapy or they go to an addiction rehabilitation center and they're told how to react and what to do. It's so hard to trust. You've never had to trust somebody like this before, and you're not sure that they know what they're talking about. So it can be enormously hard to follow, to keep going and to keep going. And, it can be up to 5 years, apparently, that maybe even more, 5 years that somebody can be tempted to go back or feel like this isn't quite the right way. And Dirk and we met a guy called Dennis Engel, who, if you speak Danish, any of you who's watching, if anyone speak Danish, then his interview is fantastic. One I did with him, where he tells about the way out of addiction. It's really tough. And for the first year, he was just like, this is just so boring. If this is what it's all about, then it's not worth it. When he met me and got the chance to do the exhibition, put some paintings in my exhibition back then, that was just like, suddenly something new happened, which made it exciting. A similarity to the traditional Japanese tea house, where the entrance is low to make people humble and equal. Yeah, sounds good. We all need to be humble. Yeah, so Dennis, he was told basically by his rehab person, contact person, that it can take 5 years and you should be ready for that. Thankfully, it took less time for Dennis, but it's hard work. He said it's really hard work. It's like you have to reinvent yourself. Right, so I'm going to show you 3 scary paintings. Hopefully YouTube won't actually censor them. But see, when you come out of an addiction and you are to meet this kind of horror, these people that you have hurt and disappointed, who feel like giving up on you or have given up on you, that's a pretty hard greeting that you get when you come out of your addiction. You like, your girlfriend or your mother is just like, oh, you're clean, great. And they don't believe that it's going to last because they've seen it before. Or somebody's still in complete agony. In some ways, when my friend, he went to rehab and was busy being nice to all sorts of other people except for me, then that's how I felt. It was very, very difficult to enjoy that he was actually getting rehabilitation, because I felt like he was just he made me turn into air. I've vanished into thin air and you've turned into lead. That was partly what that was about. This painting is called The Addict's Plight. It's really difficult to say, and I should have called it something else, but it's the plight of the addict. You start with this. Wee, wee, wee. And then the addict is having to look up at this and go like, this is fun. And then they start to look down and see this and go like, I'm not sure this is so fun. So down here you have all the people who have hit rock bottom. The question is, what are they going to do about it? Here's one that's decided to try and climb up. How many years of this tragedy are depicted in the artworks? Well, For the most part, these paintings were painted in 2017 and 18, but I have painted some more since then. I have deep insight, you see. Yeah, I think, when you really love somebody who has had such a powerful impact, negative or positive, but in this case, mostly negative impact on your life, somebody that you had invested something in, you really do get much more insight than if you were just like, if you saw a colleague relapse, you'd be like, what a shame for them, but it's not going to make you think so deeply about the issues. This here is the result of where if you get out of an addiction, but you don't get into something else, then you could have climbed all the way up here just to be standing on your own. Which, yeah, there's a hand there beckoning you to come back. As you can see, top left of this frame, and there's something kind of demonic going on. So, yeah, to reconnect to society outside of addiction is a lot of hard work as well, because, I mean, if you have a history of addiction, it's almost visible on somebody, even when they're clean. I mean, as soon as I saw my friend, before I got to know him, as soon as I saw him, I thought, he looks interesting. He looks like an addict. um, or at least I thought he looked like he'd had an interesting life. And I only saw him just from the side when I thought that. And he was actually even quite a good looking guy. Very muscular and fit, and yet I had seen it written on his face. So if you've had that kind of background, to be like, hey, my name is so and so, how are you doing? I mean, it's just not it's not what their life has been about, and they'll be afraid that people can see on them, and they probably can, that they've lived a different kind of life. So, and then there's this poor chap who's been crawling all the way up the hill, all the cliff, and almost given up. And when you're looking on, you're like, oh, but you're so close. Don't give up now. But you may not have that opportunity to tell them not to give up before they go, wee. Yeah. Another chap down here was looking up at the other guy. He was like, why am I not all the way up there? The thing is, this guy's got a shadow of a hand that's tugging him back up to hell. It sounds wrong, but you know what I mean. So, hey, if anyone wants to give this a thumbs up or whatever, I suppose I should remind you of it. Anyway, this here is where hope comes, because hope is important. And I've changed it a little bit since you saw it, Dirk, and maybe it's better, maybe it's not. But I've put these reflectors on instead of the words I had on in wire. So I quite like them too, but this in Danish this says trust. Oh, I've got one more thumb up. That's nice. But the reflectors are more in line with the fact that this is parts of an old bike. So I could do with more lighting on it, to be honest. Don't know what to do with that. But each of these shelves, which is made from a piece of bike mudguard, has a word connected to it. So this one says forgiveness. And this heart has taken a tumble, but it says love. So Come on, focus. There we go. Love. And I've got different languages. So the interesting thing for me is to see how many beans there are on the different shelves, depending on what the word is. So this one is patience. It's got a few beans. Oh, peace only has one bean. That sounds wrong. And hope. I think this is hope. There's 3 beans. So this is an interactive artwork. It gives people the opportunity to take some steps, certainly symbolically, by putting a bean in here, either for themselves or for somebody else. And if this side gets weighed down, then the other one lifts. So they affect each other. It's an interesting thing. I'm sure I could make this even better if I really had them in contact with each other. You know, which ones were highest and which ones were lowest. Yeah, never mind. Over here, I have a table where you can draw your own artworks in principle, and then put them up on the wall here. Not sure of the quality that's happened so far, but never mind. The idea is to say that this is a subject that's so big that a lot more people could be involved in creating artwork for it. Dirk has bought a few of these paintings that I have here. As in, he hasn't bought the ones that are here, but ones that were similar to these. So there's one person who's really been a good supporter of me with on a financial and practical level, then it's Dirk. So I think it's so here's another painting. These paintings I should really put up, but I haven't done. This kind of, to me, is a lot about depression. And at the time, a friend of mine who also had addiction problems, who I met before I met this guy, obviously I was a sucker for them. He lived in a boat, and while he was in prison, his boat sank, and in some ways his life sank with it. So this is a little bit about that. Also see here, there's just a nose tip that's sticking up. And I guess some people, they feel like they're drowning in their life problems. They're maybe not that far from the surface. They could, with a little bit of help, get above board again, but they had kind of given up. So, you know, I don't believe that we need to allow our pain and our despair to keep us down in the way that I think modern Western thinking does. So what I mean by that is I have definitely experienced some enormous disappointments, even just within this past week. Enormous disappointments. And the question is, what do I do about it in my mind? Do I start to just think the world is a horrible place and sink below the surface and never rise again? I feel like last Saturday that was where I was headed, because I had made a really big effort, made videos and sent them out. I mean, to encourage people to come to an event, and I had invited 3 guest speakers to speak, and well, 2 of them called in sick and said that they weren't able to come, so that in itself made the event smaller. And then when I came, it's like, nobody's coming. Where is everybody? 4 guests, 5 at most, and 2 speakers. me being one of the speakers. So, we were 7 people in all, and for all that effort, all those hours I spent putting a video together or sending videos out, or the whole preparation of this exhibition. And this was my main attraction that I had invited people to. And today, in fact, was the second biggest disappointment, but that's come slowly because I had made an event for school teachers to invite their pupils to come and see the exhibition and talk about addiction, etc. And nobody had put their name down, so you guys are here instead. So, but the disappointment was last Saturday. It's like, this is just so not fair. But then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to just find a different tactic, and it's important that I don't get so upset that I'm of no use to anyone or even to myself. So I decided to let the past be the past and look forward. And it was a decision I had to make. And I think you also kind of have to make the decision fast. Because if you really allow the negative thoughts to settle, they become much harder. Leah, you have touched me with your artwork and your storytelling. Thank you, Margot. That's the idea. If I can be open and honest, then other people can too. So that's the aim of this exhibition, to open up and be honest and let other people be honest and open.
I should say, Leah, don't be disappointed. There will be one day that, for whatever reason, there will be more public coming, and you never know how it works. It's not because you have made a lot of publicity that people are coming. There can be a stupid reason, another event at the same moment that you didn't know. Never give up and do what you think you have to do.
Yeah. Well,
And believe
last
in
weekend,
yourself, because your artwork is really very, very meaningful. It's not only beautiful, it's also meaningful. And yeah, knock on different doors, and one day there will be a door that goes open, that opens to a broader public.
yeah,
I understand the frustration, of course, but
it's very
it's
frustrating
difficult to
because,
know. Yeah, I believe that.
this
But
exhibition, I spent about 9 days of absolute crazy amount of hours and effort to put up an exhibition with that kind of labyrinth thing. And I've done this so many times. Nearly every time I'm just like, why did I put so much effort into something when so few people are seeing it? But at least in this space, the space itself is so nice that I want to make some good video shots and stuff. But all that effort that I put in is now in the past, and maybe it's given me some extra muscles. It's a lot of hard work, and if I allowed my mind to dwell on the amount of effort that I put in, I mean, even the fact that I put money into to try and get more funding, I paid for a fundraiser, and she has brought this much in for me, and I don't even blame her. I think she sent some like 25 applications off, and it's only cost me money. That's just insane. So those thoughts, biblically, you say, keep your thoughts captive or something like that. And it's important, don't let the negative thoughts rule you. You have a choice. I have a choice.
that's true.
Sorry?
That's true, but it's still disappointing, of course.
Of
It
course.
should be
Very.
a lot more fun that it was crowded, that you have a lot of reactions.
Yeah.
But you never know how it works. One day, knock on doors and you will see.
Yeah, I
Perhaps
might.
not.
The problem is, if this doesn't somehow lift off at some point, it'll just be back in a storage space for me to pay for again. So it is, it's easier with soundtracks or books that you've written to have them stored away until this day when somebody cares. My artwork is so three-dimensional, a lot of it, and that it becomes very hard to just store away on a USB stick. So we'll see. I'm
How
doing
many
a
days
live.
is it?
So I'm doing a live recording with people. So I don't know if you've been around seeing my exhibition.
Oh yeah. I was watching another one, and then saw this one down here.
Yeah. Any thoughts?
It's amazing.
Have you been lost in the labyrinth yet?
No, I haven't.
Well, you need to go and get lost in the labyrinth.
Okay.
Then you can tell me how that went. See, I find it so funny that the entrance is so difficult to find. It looks obvious to me, but maybe I need to put a few more sparks and yeah, push. I need to do something to make the very obvious entrance even more obvious. I remember in Galaboril, where you were as well, that I thought the entrance was very, very obvious there too. But people were like, "Oh, I didn't know you could go in there." It's like, yeah. And another thing that I learned from all this is just the fact that if people are finding something difficult to understand, then it's my fault, or it's my job to make things more understandable. So there we go. Well, does anyone have any questions?
Do you have a logbook in which people can write down their thoughts?
I have one in the room that I called the repentance room, the remorse room, because I thought that would be the most quiet and you'd see the book more obviously in there, I thought. So I wouldn't say it's been overrun with comments. It's usually easier to get people to write in a book if I'm standing there saying, "Do you want to write a comment?"
Yeah.
Like in Christiania, I've had this exhibition in Pusher Street in Christiania, which has been insane in many ways because Pusher Street is full of people who are pushing drugs, and then there I am sharing an exhibition about addiction, and quite a few of the pushers have been in to see it and really thought it was great. So that's fun. Oh, I got a thumbs up. Any more to boot? There's only 3 people watching, probably you, me, and Margot. Anyway, see there, it's always exciting to share, and I think I just have to accept that I have a good product, and as somebody else said, it's such a shame that so many people are missing out.
What was
Thank
it
you,
a big
Margot.
difference? Leah,
Sorry?
was the big difference to make an exhibition on your own instead of the collaboration that you did 5 years ago? Is there a big difference?
You mean with Dennis?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the collaboration with Dennis was, he helped me build the labyrinth. But it wasn't like he was carrying any of the responsibility as such.
Yeah, that's true, but he hangs some paintings of himself also,
Yeah.
which added interesting aspects, I think.
Yeah, I was going to have his artwork in this exhibition too, but because of the weather, my transport guy, he wasn't able to come the day that we were supposed to be transporting it, and Dennis wasn't home at the time the next day where I would try to transport it. So, but I feel like the labyrinth is busy enough. There's enough to see in the labyrinth, but yeah, to have a real live former addict's artwork in the exhibition is not a bad thing.
But I don't miss anything. I think the story is there. The whole story is there. It's working for me. But I was just wondering if there's a big difference for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice in a sense to have somebody else that you can
Yeah.
talk to and share with. I did have another guy who helped build the labyrinth, thankfully, because it was a lot of work to put that up. And even though if I had like 2 weeks, I would probably have figured it out. But when you have so little time, you need to just to be you need somebody who's just good at making decisions and making them fast. So yeah. Do you think we should go in and see what's going on with the guy that I just put in here?
He's lost, completely lost.
He's maybe lost forever.
He
Whoops,
vanished.
vanished, yeah. So, oops, I can hear somebody. Are you finding your way out? He's trying to find his way out. So maybe we'll talk to him. Can I talk to you? But if you don't want to be online, I'll not put you online if you don't mind. You don't mind? Okay. So, have you tried to find your way out?
No, I just got to this point.
Okay.
So I just took,
Okay, it's good. Well, how did you find the rest of it?
I really like your style. It reminds me of Francis Bacon or something.
Oh, nightmare. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's in torment. Yeah. So,
I really like
were you, do you feel like you have understood the artworks? Certainly in a way that
it. I don't think
means
I saw it's about addiction.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't think I related that much to that part of it. But
No.
yeah.
It's always interesting to know how people experience something. But yeah, I mean, it's basically a mixture of my my experiences and understanding what an addict feels. But anyway, I'm going to watch you see if you can get out.
Okay. I'm sure we have to get down.
There are some arrows.
Just get back.
Well, follow the arrows. No, 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 no. That's not the following the arrows. And then there's another arrow. Okay, see, this is a good. I need to make those arrows more obvious. Okay. Okay. He thinks he's stuck, and that's how it is. You can think you're stuck in addiction, and you think that the person who's telling you the way out is talking rubbish, but actually, there we go. Well done.
I think the entrance of that maybe put it more science.
Another one on the door. Yeah, yeah, possibly. But you're right. There's a lot of. I mean, you're right. I'm wrong because if a lot of people find it difficult to find their way in somewhere or out, then it's my job to calibrate. Yeah, that's true. Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I'll try and make a really big obvious sign that says, "Come in here, come in here."
Process.
So I can show you. It says Bruce, and there's a hand on the door.
I think I was looking at Superman.
Superman was stealing the show, so maybe Superman has to say, "Come in here," and then it says, come further in over here." Yeah. Oh well. Thank you. And if you have any friends that want to come, then I'm here tomorrow, so you can tell them.
The only one I told so far is in Finland. So that doesn't help much.
It's a faraway place to come from, actually. Yeah, do that. What's the group?
Associated. So,
Okay.
it's downtown.
Okay. Well, I'm here tomorrow. Good, good. Right, so I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with these people that are on here. Oh, got 4 thumbs up. That's nice.
But yeah,
Thank you. No, oh, that's nice. Not just saying that. That's even better. Yeah, and if you want to write a comment in the guest book, it's in there. Now you know the way out. Oh, so anyone want to ask any questions? Now I see the growing number of people watching, which is ridiculous for me. 'Cause I'm starting to wind up, but I'd like to stay for a bit if anyone wants to ask any questions. Otherwise, we can maybe call it a live feed, 1.5 hours almost, and a lot of fumbling. I don't know what to do about this whole thing. You know, you got a live a live waiting for you for an hour, no, for 6 days, and then when you finally see it's now the time it should be for it to go live, it doesn't go live. Don't know what I'm supposed to do. Have you ever tried to do a live, Dirk?
Never before, but you did one once, one in Christiania, if I remember well, of a concert or a manifestation. Something was happening and you were doing a live stream. But
Was
I
it on
never did it
Facebook?
myself. Oh, it's perhaps 1 or 2 years ago, or I don't remember. But thank you, you did a live stream.
Yeah,
Or
but
was
I
it in
don't
the
know if I
church?
just
Was perhaps
the
in the
thing is
church.
if you just put it on live, like what I've just done just now, that's not the same as having it waiting and people knowing about it, and coming on online over time.
But
So
I never did it myself, so I couldn't give any suggestion to do, try this or try that. I never done it. Nobody
okay.
cares about what I have to show them. No, it's something I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy to play violin. Play a lot of violin myself. Not literally, but yeah. So just a recap in case somebody's just tuned in. This is an my exhibition called My Beloved Addict, which was inspired by seeing a dear friend relapse into a heroin addiction, which was awful. And my exhibition has been about seeing that and being affected by it myself, and trying to show understanding towards other people who have that, so that when they see my exhibition, they're like, she understands me. And I've just had this exhibition in a container in Pusher Street, and some of the people who came into that exhibition, there was two heroin, or certainly one was a heroin addict and the other one was on other pills and drugs. They both felt really moved by it. And the one guy, he was really weeping. You know, he could hardly speak. He was just so touched by it, and that almost makes it all worthwhile. You know, almost.
That's perhaps the whole point. If you can touch a couple of people who are in need of a message, perhaps that's the goal you have.
Yeah.
You
The
know,
only
in a
thing,
way.
you know, just the other day I made a comment on YouTube, and I can't remember the context, but I did comment on disappointment, and about having used all this. Oh yeah, it was to do with watching East versus West, the arm wrestling competition, and feeling like the price was going up and maybe too much, and commented on that, and somebody was like, well, if you think $20 is too much, go get a job. And I was like, yeah, but you know, I've been working my ass off for no money. And then he was like, calling me something along the lines of just a vain, self-centered, egoistic artist that's doing no good whatsoever. And I was like, okay, your opinion. Thankfully, I didn't let it get under my skin. But, you know, people can say lots of things.
It's easy to comment on online behind a keyboard and send some insults. That's easy.
It's the
Come and do
keyboard
the same thing
warriors.
face to face. Yeah.
But anyway, I know that this exhibition has touched a lot of people. One thing that really disturbs me or saddens me is that I don't feel I can send people anywhere to get help. You know, if they see something in my exhibition that makes them think I want to get out of my addiction, it's just like bureaucracy trips people up a lot in Denmark. There seems to be more of an effort to help people stay in their addiction, you know, to stay in it safely, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, you know, like harm reduction efforts are good, but when they are replacing actual help out of addiction, that's not good.
Mm.
So I would like to see more actual help, like immediate help. If somebody's like, okay, I can't cope with this anymore, I really need help and I need it now, that it would be possible to get immediate help. And I'm not saying that the people should just be allowed to bounce in and out of addiction centers, rehab centers. There might have to be some kind of yeah, I don't know, commitment. But you know, it's a whole new way of looking at rehab efforts.
I think there's a general idea of a lot of people that an addiction is your own fault. It's not a medical situation, it's your fault. You have to solve your own problems. I think that's the general conception of an addiction. And if you
Yeah,
have a medical condition, then you have hospital, then you have doctors, then you have the whole system. But an addiction, it's your choice. Why should other people get involved to solve your problem? You have
yeah,
made a choice. I think that's something that is in the head of a lot of people.
yeah. But it's both and, because if there is nothing that you can do as an addict about your situation, that's actually a worse message. You know, say, well,
Of
you're just ill, there's nothing we can do. That's worse than to be told you're ill, but you can do something and you should do something. So it's both and. The thing is that if you as a person struggling with an addiction also has to struggle with the council and the government and the health whatever system, that is just not on. I spoke to a guy who came, one of the guys who did come on Saturday was a former alcoholic, and he said, you know, he was an older man. He said that he went to the council for help with his addiction, and the guy was just prolonging the period all the time from when he should be getting actually into a rehab center and get some proper help from, you know, to go away somewhere. His contact person was like, oh, but we need some more information about this. Oh, you need to send me this paper. Oh, actually, no, I haven't quite done it yet. I've been snowed down, snowed under, and blah blah blah. So he was just fighting with his own contact person to be allowed to get the help that he needed. So people, I mean, he had a wife that was supporting him. Imagine if you're just Joe Blogs off the street and you are totally messed up with alcohol. You can't think straight. If you don't even have the backing of the people that are meant to help you, you know, then good luck. You've got no
yeah,
chance. And
no,
Dennis, who you mentioned, who was involved
yeah,
in my exhibition, he said that his dad saved him from being thrown out of, not thrown out, but sent back out onto the streets after being locked up in you know, he was strapped up because he had a psychosis, and as soon as he was ready to be released from his straps, they were going to send him on his way. And his dad was thankfully quite a big guy, both in width and height. Said, "You will not do that. He's got a space in a rehab very soon, and you have to keep him until then." So they were like, "Okay, we'll do that."
Yeah, but it's
Otherwise,
not a
you'd have
general
been
rule.
It's not a
It's not a
sent back out
general
then.
rule. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not a general rule. Anyway, I think we should call that a live stream. It's nice to have someone to share it with.
It was nice to hear and see you again, Leah. It has been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while.
It has been a while. But you have still the same vision in life in what you want to do, and your message is still very strong. So keep on the good work and knock on doors. Perhaps knock on doors. Keep knocking.
Yeah, I know you tried to knock on doors for me down in Ghent, but
Yeah, that was another frustration. That
that was
was a
also
frustration.
very
Yeah.
frustrating.
And after that, as a matter of fact, shortly after that, there was COVID. In the same year, there was COVID. So and I went to see the exhibition because there was still an exhibition on addiction. And they invited, purely by coincidence, another, I think I sent you a link at the time, I'm not sure anymore. And there was another artist, a Danish also, and it was worth nothing. Nothing. There was
A
some
Danish
pictures.
artist.
Yeah, I really don't recall the name. It's too long ago, but it was worth nothing. But apparently there was a contact long before with him and whatever, and it was easier and cheaper to send some pictures and really big artworks. I think that was the reason behind it. It was a complicated and frustrating situation, but yeah,
Again, the
life.
frustration,
Yeah,
efforts
it
made.
happens. It happens.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Well,
one day, knock on
one day,
doors and
knock on
be
doors.
patient.
Yeah.
Be patient.
Where's that word?
But
Patient.
it's a very beautiful venue. It's open. It's big. It's called Bunker, I think. It was in Danish, but I recognize the word bunker in it. Is that correct?
Bunker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bunker. Yeah. So it's like the Culture House
It's a
bunker.
it's a big venue.
Self-control. I need to make these clearer. They're not very easy to read. That's what I got out of
Yeah.
this. Peace. Patience. This is the one. Right, guys. I'm going to go and find my bean. I'm going to write my name on it. Don't think anyone else is going to be seeing this, but okay, that's going to be hard to do on with a picture on. Sorry, you're not going to see anything. Leah. There we go.
Yeah.
Leah
We can see it.
is going to have some patience. Let's see.
Okay.
Patience for Leah.
Somebody is asking if the artwork is for sale, Leah.
Someone asked me that?
Yeah, it's in the feed.
Oh, that's funny. You're going to see some feed. Yeah, the artwork's for sale. I just want to get it somewhere so they don't have to babysit it anymore. But the prices are probably not like everyone's favorite prices. But yeah, if you have a decent offer, the artwork is for sale. Why can't I see your question?
It's not the last, but before the last line.
So what's the last line you're seeing?
Thank you so much for sharing.
Okay,
That's
I can't
mine.
see either of those.
Yeah, that's the last.
Hej. Har I set udstillingen? Det er mig, der har lavet den. Ja. Jeg hedder Lea. Jeg laver en live feed, så jeg ved ikke, om du vil dukke op på den. Here you go.
Oh,
So it's on YouTube.
Okay.
Do you want to give a thought on your exhibition experience? Vil du fortælle, hvordan det var at se udstillingen? Så fint. Når du mener Ovataki, jeg mener den her. Hvis ikke du har set den, så kan du prøve at gå ind i den her labyrint. Ja. Ja, det er min elskede narkoman, ja. Det er en labyrint. Sorry, I'm just speaking to some guests here. Så om på den anden side, der kan man gå ind ad en dør, og så kan man vandre rundt. Og det er sådan et forsøg på at udtrykke, hvordan det føles at være fanget i en afhængighed. Så det vil jeg gerne prøve. Det er ikke Ovataki. Det er en anden. Nej, ikke hvis du er herinde, og jeg er her, så er det ikke helt okay. Ja, jeg skal nok sørge for, at I ikke bliver låst inde. Du kan altid komme ud. Okay. Let me see.
I think the connection is gone. Call it today also. If you still can see me, bye-bye. It was nice hearing see you again, and all the luck with your exhibition. See you later.